But if cops are coming to you, you're watching this video, if this ever happens to you, you gotta understand, if you don't cooperate, what's gonna happen? So trying to hold this Sony AirPeak and talk to you all on camera is not the easiest thing. In this video, I'm gonna show you all a lesson that I have in my Hybrid Creative Pro Bootcamp class about how to deal with law enforcement if you get the police, park ranger, anyone calling you for flying your drone. Dealing with law enforcement while flying your drone. In this lesson, I'm gonna go over what you should do if you encounter any type of law enforcement while flying your drone, whether that be police officer, FAA inspector, park ranger. So here are 5 things that I did with my encounter with 2 police officers that were called on me for flying my Sony AirPeak that I think that can help you and truly keep everyone safe if you get into this type of situation. Number 1, and probably the most important thing I'm gonna say to you in this video, remain calm. So in my video, in the video that you guys are watching right now, as soon as I saw the police coming up, I automatically was calm because I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. I was flying in a place that I'd already asked could I fly. There was essentially no one around when me and my talent was doing our thing. Shout out to my guy Javay. He's overseas playing professional basketball right now. I knew me and him hadn't done anything wrong. So I was already just calm knowing that the police were coming there to talk to me about the drone. In the video, you can see me start to walk towards the police. Now, I'm not advising you do anything like that, but I was gauging the situation where, okay, cops are coming to me to ask me a question. I'm gonna go to them to answer the question. I just met them halfway. And in the video, you can see me hand my drone license to the officer. She takes the drone license, looks at it, she kind of laughs, which makes me feel like, okay. So basically when she handed me my drone license back, she was pretty much saying that it was a female officer and a male officer. They just wanted to come check out what was going on. Someone had called the police for, don't know what the reason was, but when we were talking, having our conversation, we pretty much came down to the conclusion that they were more so just the noise of the AirPeak probably was throwing that person that called the police on me off. But again, I wasn't doing anything wrong. The AirPeak wasn't near anyone. I don't know why they called the police. I don't know why in that situation they felt the need to call law enforcement to come check on 2 guys filming with a drone at a basketball court. And again, there was not that many people around. But once me and the officers established that they were just there to kind of check the situation out, everything felt different. So wrapping up, number 1, you need to remain calm no matter what, so that when you're addressing the police officer, the person, whoever it is that's coming up to confront you, you need to be calm so that you can think clearly through the situation. Number 2, cooperate with the police officers or the FAA inspector or the site manager or the National Park Ranger. Whoever it is, your cooperation in whatever is going down is very key for how it's gonna end. I always go, and I'm just a laid back ass guy in general, but most situations I'm gonna try to be laid back. But if cops are coming to you, you're watching this video, if this ever happens to you, you gotta understand, if you don't cooperate, what's gonna happen? Someone comes up to you, hey, why you flying that drone? And you're like, you just kind of give them a mean look, or you're like disrespectful. How do you see that ending well? Like, I don't see any scenario where if you decide to like pump your chest out at whoever is coming to you, that's just not gonna end well for you. So take my advice, just cooperate with whoever it is and then just see how it goes. I'm not telling you to get disrespected. I'm not telling you to, if something happens and you feel disrespected, you have to, not even disrespected, you have to gauge the situation on how whoever is addressing you is talking to you. But like in my case, female officer and male officer, they both were talking to me. They met me with respect. I met them with respect. I could tell the conversation was gonna go smoothly just because of how we started everything. We started everything on a good note. I wasn't mad. I didn't start yelling. I didn't like try to run away. I just cooperated with them and they cooperated with me. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. Number 3, make sure your aircraft is secure and will not fly away. If you're flying, make sure you land as soon as possible so that you can have a civil conversation with whoever is having the conversation with you. So in my case, when the cops came, I hadn't even taken off with the air peak yet. So before the test flight, me and my boy Javay, we went over the entire shot list. Like, I was in my director, drone operator mode. We talked about every single shot that I'd be getting. So we had like a conversation for like 15 minutes. Then we did a test flight, then I landed the drone. When the cops came and approached me, the drone was already on the ground. If the cops are getting called on you, the police, park ranger, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure the drone is on the ground so that if the situation ends where you need to leave the premises or anything happens, your drone is already on the ground. Number 4, some people might not agree with me on this one, but answer any questions that they have truthfully. Because again, what scenario do you think that if you're doing something that you don't supposed to do or anything, if you lie, someone's gonna find out? In my case, officers asked me what I was doing. There's a guy holding a basketball. I'm flying a drone, filming him doing things with the basketball. That's the truth. There's no one at the park. We'd already asked permission to do it, and that was this whole story. The cops took that story, they looked at the situation. There's a drone, there's a basketball court, there's a guy with a basketball. That must be the truth. So at one point I had 2 police officers, one standing over my right shoulder, one standing over my left shoulder, watching me fly the Sony Air Peak. If you don't know what the Sony Air Peak is, I'll get into that in another video, but this is a large, powerful, professional drone that takes all of my concentration to fly. So imagine this scenario. If I was nervous, if I was scared that I was doing something wrong, if I felt any kind of way, that would have made me not be able to operate my aircraft, which was the Sony Air Peak. And I'm also filming another human being playing basketball, trying to get a cool shot for, it was just like a practice flight. So there was no purpose for us to be doing the flight other than I wanted to get better with the air peak. So I went and got a very good professional level basketball player. We took the air peak out and we're flying against some shots. But I had 2 cops watching me while I was flying. So the reason I tell you all that story is because I was confident in myself as a professional drone pilot, knowing that I had a plan for the whole shoot. I had already talked with my talent. So 2 cops standing over each one of my shoulders watching me fly a $15,000 drone. I really wasn't nervous. Like, I truthfully, I wasn't nervous at all. The only time I was nervous is when the cops walked up. But again, after we started talking, they just wanted to see me fly the thing. So it was almost like a learning experience for the police officers because they stood there, and if you know the air peak, it's about, I think I flew for about 6 minutes. So I flew an entire set of Sony Air Peak batteries with 2 police officers watching me the entire time, and I got some dope footage and some dope pictures, and they were also impressed. Like, they were like learning while I was flying. So long story short, like, I don't think you would be in a situation like that, but imagine if I didn't know what I was doing. Imagine if I didn't have a plan. Imagine if, you know, I was lying and we were doing something else with the drone and we weren't doing like a basketball shoot. Things would have not went good. So always just try to tell the truth whenever this encounter happens. Try to be truthful, try to be honest, and that usually will help you come out of the situation better. Number 5, last but not least, make a note of the incident. So as soon as that happened, so if anything ever happens and I'm flying at that same park again, I'll have everything written down with the date, time, how it happened, the video footage that you guys been seeing. I wasn't trying to take video of what happened. I just had that camera set up. As you can see, it's not the best quality. That was kind of just like a behind the scenes camera for my Sony Air Peak footage, and I just kind of had that camera rolling. So for everyone in this class, when I say this, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, to keep you safe, to keep the officers involved safe. Just really think about the situation and understand that you are a professional and you need to handle the situation a certain way. I'm not saying that the things that I just told you are the only way you could do it, but I do think those 5 things, if you do those, that's gonna help you 9 times out of 10 if you get into a situation where you need to do any of those things. So having your Part 107, if you're flying recreationally, having that trust certificate. I made a YouTube video before this video talking about why you need the truth completion certificate. Having that certificate on you, having your Part 107 card, that could be the game changer between the situation alone. Like imagine, like soon as I saw the cops, the first thing I did was calmly walked up to him and put my Part 107 card in the cop's hand. Like, here you go, boom. Cop was like, oh, this guy's legit. You know what I mean? Like it just made sense. Like, oh, here's like FAA, like it just made sense. So if you got your truth completion certificate, if you got your Part 107 card, if you have your proof of insurance, you got the number registered on your drone, all that stuff is just gonna help your case, not your case, because hopefully you don't get a case and go to court. It's gonna help you in the situation. I really do hope this lesson was helpful. I hope you all got something out of it. If you all need anything, let me know. The next drone meetup that we're gonna do is gonna be in Las Vegas. I'll let you all know the details on the date, but make sure you guys send me a message if you have any questions, and our next drone flying meetup will be in Las Vegas, where we'll all get together, talk drones, fly drones, talk safety, talk hybrid shooting, photo, video, all those good things. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.